speaking on the theme of strength through weakness. We live in a world that boasts a great deal about strength. As we come into the end of the season of football, the beginning of other seasons of sports, we live in a world that in some ways has made sports into a new religion, where you have more people in the United States sometimes watching football than in church, in fact, much of the time. And yet, the God of heaven and earth is not as impressed with human strength as we tend to be. And he makes that very clear in Isaiah 40, verses 28 through 31. Have you not known? Have you not heard? The everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might, he increases strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Now in that verse 31, where we see that word, those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength, the actual Hebrew word there is chalaf, which means to change or exchange. In other words, what the prophet is speaking of is those who wait on the Lord will exchange their strength for a different kind of strength. When I was a young man, I was in 4 sports in high school. I wanted to go out for crew at Yale, though the Lord made it very clear that that's not what he wanted me to do. But the Lord allowed my knees to go bad because of a number of things, including a construction accident that had me going through a series of 9 surgeries on my knees, a total of about 6 years on crutches. And someone could say, well, how could God allow a young man to go through those things? But I can tell you, I learned more about the Lord through that time of suffering and weakness than in all the rest of my life. It's when we are weak, as Paul said, that we are made strong. When we learn not to run in the strength of the flesh can do some things, but it cannot do the work of God. All of us who would serve Jesus Christ must learn to exchange our strength, the strength of the human intellect, the strength of the human body, for the wisdom and the knowledge of the living God, who gives a strength that cannot be compared to the strength of this world. It's not easy going through suffering or through difficulty, but if any of you listening to this are going through times of difficulty today, God intends it for your good. He allowed Abraham to go through difficulty. He allowed Joseph to suffer. He allowed King David to go through all kinds of testings. And he allows us to go through testing because he wants to change us and deepen us. Dwight Moody said the following about Moses, which encapsulates some of the theme of what I'm speaking about today. Moses spent 40 years thinking he was somebody, 40 years learning that he was nobody, and 40 years discovering what God can do with a nobody. Compared to the living God, we are all nobodies, and yet the living God delights to show his power and his glory in us. James Hudson Taylor put it another way. He said this: many Christians estimate difficulty in the light of their own resources, and thus they attempt very little, and they always fail. All giants have been weak men who did great things for God because they reckoned on his power and presence to be with them. Amen.